Here on Beat the Press, we've long talked about the dark corners of the internet and the depravity you'll find there. Sometimes exposing vile and illicit material serves a public interest. Other times, it's best to just leave it alone. The hard part is knowing where to draw that line.
Meet the man who's crowdfunding murder. That's the gist of this article published last month on Forbes.com. Andy Greenberg, who covers hacker culture for Forbes, says he was contacted recently by the anonymous creator of the website Assassination Market.
He explained that this was a project he intended to kill politicians and destroy the government as we know it.
The Darknet website purportedly allows people to anonymously contribute bounties on individual politicians, including Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke and President Obama. While some dismiss the site as a probable scam, Greenberg isn't so sure.
He calls himself a crypto-anarchist. He believes that encryption can be used to destroy the central government, and he is a radical anarchist who would like to see that.
Greenberg admits there was an internal debate within Forbes over whether to publicize such a site.
Some editors are still upset that I published this story. But, I write about cybersecurity and hackers, but by exposing these things, that's how they get fixed, or, that's how they're brought to light.
That's debatable. There are some things that should never see the light of day.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he went to the nth degree, and I have no idea, to discover whether this was indeed legitimate. I mean, this whole thing about if one of these people gets assassinated, then you will win these bitcoins, this internet exchange. It's like, really? I mean, well, I really wonder whether it's legitimate.
In that interview that Andy Greenberg did, I thought he made a pretty strong case that he had found out this was a legitimate story. A few things. He pointed out that and in his story, he pointed out this is an idea that people have been kicking around for decades. Before the technologies existed to make something like this possible, there were sort of theorists of, the cyber anarchist movement, if it's a movement, who were into this idea. Now we have these new technologies, the Darknet that you talked about, sort of the internet underneath the internet, and also Bitcoin, this virtual currency, which is a new thing. And most important, I think, Greenberg said he verified that there have, in fact, been substantial amounts of Bitcoin money paid into this service. Money is changing hands, so it's not purely hypothetical. He's a credible reporter. He writes about sort of the darker aspects of the internet. As unpleasant as the story is, I really can't fault him for writing it or Forbes for publishing it.
I can. I don't get this. To what end do I have to know about this? And you said in your piece he said this stuff can be fixed. The first thing that comes to my mind is copycats. People just don't get any, and they just say, "Oh, this is a good idea." Ben Bernanke. What is the point of that? I don't understand.
Well, when you have a site that there is some degree of probability that it is what it purports to be, engaged in activities as disturbing as this, I don't have a problem with reporting that. I think it ought to be out there. It's like one of those things where, we know the Secret Service knows about it. We know a lot of people know about it. It turns out that everybody knows about it except the public. And I think we should know about it, too. Another point that Andy Greenberg made in that radio interview that I thought was very interesting is that he said money was rolling into it at a fairly steady rate. Bitcoin. And then he wrote a story.
Bitcoins. Let's make sure we say it's Bitcoins.
Fake money. Bitcoin money.
It's not, but not fake money. I mean, it's a currency that's worth
hypothetical.
Wait a minute.
Money.
There is a lot of discussion about whether or not this works. I just got to put that on the table. I've done a piece about Bitcoin. There's a guy here trying to do a Bitcoin ATM.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, continue.
But the point is, he was saying that no money has gone to the site since his story came out, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I have no problem with him publishing it either, presuming he did do his due diligence. It sounds like he did, because it's really creepy. But again, I'm saying to myself, if someone wants to assassinate somebody, I mean, aren't there dark corners you can go to and just hire a hitman and go out and get it done? But in any case, I have no problem with him reporting on this.
That will be the follow-up story.
There were, I think they were, the idea was, to create this whole reward system, and he wants to bring down government in entirety. I mean, it's
hired
not,
hands who are going to do
nutcase
dirty work
stuff,
for you.
which is that's where I have a problem.
But a whole lot of stuff is being crowdsourced these days in a way that it didn't used to be. WikiLeaks is sort of premised on a crowdsourcing of information model. We see, taxi services being crowdsourced or outsourced via the internet. So, lethal force is something that shapes the world we live in, and it's not unreasonable to suggest, I think Andy Greenberg made a really good case, that the potential is there for that to be outsourced via the internet, for better or worse.
Because the other thing we're overlooking is I don't think that the chances of assassinating a major political figure and getting away with it have changed as a result of technology. I mean, that would seem to be the flaw in the system here.
Let's hope so.